All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. So, upon firing head coach Brian Daboll last month, the New York Giants and New York Giants co-owner John Mara really missed an opportunity to also move on from the team's general manager and Joe Shane. Now, Shane and Dayball came to the Giants together back in 2022, of course. Shane was hired as he worked in the Buffalo Bills front office, and then, of course, Dayball was the team's offensive coordinator. And after having immediate success with the Giants, things have unraveled very quickly for them. The losing is back for the Giants, and some could make the case that it's even worse than it was before Shane and Dayball joined the franchise. Now, upon moving on from Dayball, it appeared on the surface, at least, that Shane would be safe to return as Giants general manager in 2026, which is something that I and many other people looking at this situation question because what has Joe Shane really done to warrant hanging around 1925 Giants Drive? You look at this thing, and since parting with Dayball, the losing has continued for the Giants as they just go out there and find ways to lose games. While we just saw them get punked by the New England Patriots on a national stage this past Monday night. Now, if the season ended today, the Giants would be picking second in the draft, which is one spot higher than they were last season when they were third overall. And of course, they took Abdul Carter. Now, with that said, the Giants have clearly not improved. Why? Because you don't judge a team by the players, you judge a team by the wins and losses. And it takes me back to what I said after Brian Daboll was fired. Why is Joe Shane still allowed to hang around and play GM? Now, John Mara has let it be known that Shane will have a hand in picking the next head coach for the Giants, but that's not a guarantee because things can change. Last year, we saw the New York Jets fire head coach Robert Sala during the season. And even though that general manager, Joe Douglas, didn't get fired alongside Sala, he'd soon also become an ex employee of the Jets. Now, at 2-11, where the Giants currently are, there is a very real possibility that the Giants could break the franchise's record for losses, which they just set last year when they went 3-14. Okay, and if that's the case, if we see a Giants team go 2-15 or possibly even 3-14 once again for the second consecutive year, there's no way in the world, okay, that John Mara could be justified in bringing back Joe Shane for 2026. Because if Mara were to do that, he'd have a mutiny on his hands, as you might see some of the Giants' beloved fans calling in their season tickets. And as bad as things have been for the Giants so far, they're losing this season and illustrating that they are a rudderless ship could be a blessing in disguise as it might force John Mara to do something drastic. And as I continue to say, this organization is in drastic need of a culture change. The Giants players do not expect to win when they take the field, and their opponents do not expect to lose to them. Giants opponents operate in the mode of a schoolyard bully who is simply toying with them after taking their lunch money. Mara appears to be allowing Shane to hang his hat on drafting or having a hand at least in drafting quarterback Jackson Dart. But let's get something straight. Shane is also the guy who allowed Saquon Barkley to walk out the door. And of course, he eventually joined the Philadelphia Eagles. He also allowed Brian Daboll to fire defensive coordinator Wink Martindale. And after the end of the 2023 season, this Giants defense has been garbage. Now, there is no nice way of saying that the Giants are a mess now, and there is no nice way of saying that, or there's no way, period, that to say that John Mara should allow Joe Shane to attempt to fix the mess that he has helped to create. Like I keep saying, The Giants need a house cleaning from top to bottom. And whoever the regime that is going to be there for next year, they need to come in with a clean slate and be allowed to clean house. You cannot allow a guy like Joe Schoen, who has had both hands in creating this mess, to continue to operate for this franchise. I guarantee you, if Joe Schoen is returning for 2026 as the general manager of the Giants, they are not going to be any better than they are now. But like I said, a blessing in disguise could be if the losing continues. Clearly, this is a bye week for the Giants. They've got Washington at home next Sunday. And you look at their final four, three out of their last four at home. They've got Washington, they got Minnesota, they're on the road against the Raiders, and then they finish up at home against the Dallas Cowboys. Uh, Both Washington and Minnesota are out of playoff contention, but they still both have a lot to play for. Okay, you look at the Raiders, whole lot of nothing going on right there. Possibly a winnable game for the Giants, and then to end the regular season at home against the Dallas Cowboys team who could possibly be in the mix for a postseason spot. We have to wait and see, but nonetheless, if the losing continues and the Giants look bad on that final game in week number 18 at home, I guarantee you there's not going to be a lot of Giant fans there, but the ones who are going to be there are definitely going to express their disgust. And with 3 out of 4 games remaining for the Giants at home, we've already seen the planes flying over MetLife Stadium again this year, just like they were last year. I guarantee you something has got to give. Joe Schoen has to go. There's no nice way to say it. It's just a harsh reality. When you've been as bad as the Giants have been, okay, they've only had 2 years since 2014 where they have not had double-digit losing seasons. The bottom line is something's got to change. And if you have a guy who's been on the job since 2022 and his team has clearly gotten worse on his watch, there's no way that the Giants can continue to stick with Joe Schoen as their GM. But folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And as always, if you like what you heard and saw on this podcast, you know what to do. Just hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. And like I always say, it is greatly appreciated. Also, if you are on the X, formerly known as Twitter, you can check me out anytime at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. And it also goes for Instagram, where you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge. Also, definitely be sure to check out this channel tomorrow, as I got plenty to talk about after the college football playoff bracket is revealed. A lot to talk about there, folks. So definitely stay tuned. Also, if you are on Facebook, definitely check out the Sports Depot 365. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports groups going on social media. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I'm signing off. And I'm saying thanks once again for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.